Hey everybody, it's Cash. Welcome back. Today I am in a town called Napa, in the Napa Valley in Northern California. I'm here because a group of us, a clan almost, have gathered together in honor, in a way, of a friend of ours who's part of the group, part of the clan, who last September was told that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer with repercussions in the liver and all sorts of different things. And obviously that's terrible news for anybody to hear. But why it's remarkable is that his doctor at the time said, you might want to get your affairs in order and you know, all the stuff they tell you, kind of winding you down to the end, preparing you. And our friend, because he is so willful basically and so stubborn, simply changed doctors. He said, no, I don't want the sympathy thing, I don't want the winding down to the end thing, I want hope, I want the chance to live. And so he switched to a different doctor, and this doctor was all about, yeah, we'll make something happen, we can do the best we can, we've got this going on and that going on and this treatment and so on. So he had treatment, but with a different attitude entirely, one of positivity, one of you can make it, one of this is going to be okay. And so he steadily got better, as he expected to get better. He believed he could get better, and that belief sustained him to the point where we're now here in Napa, and so is he. He didn't die like the first doctor was probably priming him to do. And he seems strong, and he seems happy, and he is looking forward to the future. Now, he is the third person that I have come across in my life who was stubborn enough to believe that they would get well. Even though the cancer diagnosis was pretty terrible at the time, they believed they could get well. And this really got me to thinking about the power we have over the physical by using the mental and the emotional. A viewer of the channel called Amy, hi Amy, wrote and said, have you read a book called Healing and Recovery? And I hadn't. It was by David Hawkins. Now, David Hawkins is the muscle testing guy, you know, the power versus force guy. And it is a remarkable book. Amy said, just read the first 2 chapters and it will change your life forever. So I did. I bought it immediately and read it. And there's another chapter in there about health itself. And it is one of the most remarkable things I have ever read, because it kind of validates and reinforces what I've already believed for a very long time. But it was good to read it in a scientific form. And what he basically says is that illness, disease, doesn't come from the body and then we have an emotional or mental reaction to it. Disease is a result of mental and emotional vibrations. And he has a calibrated scale from 0 to 1,000, where I'm not even sure what 0 represents, to be honest, but 1,000 is like enlightenment, and every emotion, every vibrational state up to that point of consciousness has a different number. 200 is courage. Anything below 200 seems to be negative in the sense of its shame, its fear, its anxiety, and all those kind of things. Anything above 200 represents positivity, hope, belief, faith, joy, all those kind of things. And what Professor Hawkins says is basically, if we can adjust our thoughts and emotions, this is part 1 of what he says actually, if we can adjust our thoughts and emotions to a higher vibrational state, to a high vibrational level, and we get out of fear, and we get out of anxiety, we get out of stress and so on, we are closing the door on disease, because the body will simply respond accordingly and will get well, or it will stay well. That's his theory. But it backs up everything I believed for the longest time. Now, the other thing that he believes is that, or that he's even proven with his experiments maybe. The other thing is that if you are in pain for any reason, the human mind tries to deny that pain and go, oh, that hurts, but I'll get over it, I'll be fine. What Hawkins says is that we should go into the pain. We accept the pain. We say, yeah, I'm in pain, and you feel the full extent of the pain. And by not denying it, by not fighting it, by surrendering to it, we, raise our vibrations and we get well. That's what he seems to be saying. It's a remarkable thing. When I was in Italy recently, I had an accident. In fact, I had the accident in Switzerland. If you haven't seen the video where I lead up to that, I'll put a link to it in the show notes down below this one. But I was climbing aboard a train in Gstaad, Switzerland. And the thing about Swiss trains, or Italian trains or whatever, is that they have 3 steps up into the carriage. 2 of the steps are the normal height, and then there's a big one, a 3rd big step that you have to climb over. I didn't see that. I was carrying my bag and I didn't see that there was a 3rd raised step, and I fell hard on one knee, on my left knee, to the point where I genuinely thought I had cracked it so badly that I would need some kind of knee surgery, and the rest of my trip was going to be completely scuppered because I was wounded. I was in such pain. I had to change trains twice that day, and I could barely walk down steps or ramps to catch the other train to get from one platform to another. It was a terrible situation. I was in so much agony. And of course, I naturally went into that thought of, oh no, the terrible things are going to happen, and I'm going to have surgery, and I went into that space. Which is unlike me, actually, because I have this protocol that I use for getting around these things. But when I got to Milan, the next day, I was scheduled to go and see The Last Supper. It's behind these walls here, I believe. But you've got to book months in advance, it turns out. You can't really get in unless there's some kind of cancellation. And those are rare because people get a chance to see this once in a lifetime. And so I got here very, very early, like 7:20 in the morning, and found out that I couldn't get in. But there is the basilica itself, which is here. And so I thought I would go in now and touch that and see what energy I get, because this is a very sacred place to a lot of people. And maybe that has some kind of energy that would explain why the Da Vinci mural is right next door. So because I was in so much pain, and the only way I could get to the basilica was by cab. I couldn't walk 15 minutes. I was in such pain. And I sat in the basilica. First of all, actually, I tested the energy of the pillars of the basilica itself. It feels what sweetness would feel like. Yeah, there's like... what is that? Is it like real sweetness, like pure light and love? Because of so many prayers said in here? There was real love went into this, into the building of this. The intention behind it is one of great kindness. There is a lot of energy here. It's like coming down. And I don't mean like necessarily from God in heaven, but there's a real energy here of light. This is a good place to stand and pray and connect. Wow. This is possibly the best church I have tested the energy of so far. Whether it's because it's connected to the Last Supper, or whether the Last Supper was connected to this because it had this energy, I don't know. But this is, it's like it's coming down from the ceiling like sparks. But rays and rays and rays of sparks. Wow. Oh, I think I might have to sit here for a while and connect to this energy. I went and sat on a bench at the very front of the church, And I did what I tend to do, which is focus on the perfection of my divine core that connects me with God, the universe, and everything. I focused on that and how my beingness was perfect, and if I could just expand that power of the beingness into my whole physicality, including my knee specifically, then it would heal. The act of praying is about aligning your own divine beingness with the divinity that is cosmic consciousness, universal intelligence. You sit in a place like this and it acts as a funnel for that energy, particularly here. This is astonishing. When I do my technique of connecting with divine consciousness, I use the Paul Selig method from his book, I Am the Word. I do it every day. I am word through my physical body. Word, I am word. I am word through my being. Word, I am word. It works for me. And when I do it here, I am overcome. I am overcome. It is so powerful here. This is really, really powerful. Not for no reason is the Last Supper mural right next door. In this place, more than any other church I have been to, the connection with divine is at its strongest. Wow. That's what I did. I sat there doing that, and a miracle happened. Except, of course, if you know the sort of David Hawkins stuff and the other things I've been doing, it isn't that much of a miracle. But it was a miracle. And the pain went. I don't quite know what I just experienced. It felt like pure connection. I guess if you go to church because you should, and you sit there through a church service and pray and sing or whatever because you should, because that's what people do, that's not going to forge any kind of connection with divine consciousness. That connection comes through linking your, meaning our individual spark of the divine, with the greater source of everything. That's how you do it. And the moment you do that, there's just release. You feel the connection, like plugging in a kettle into the wall. It suddenly switches on and you can boil water. It's that kind of same feeling. Boy, I'm blown away by that. I came to see the Last Supper again, couldn't get in, so I went in there instead and got far more from it. There was a point there where I experienced total liberation. Nothing mattered. Everything that bothers us felt so small and insignificant. Any issue I had in life, nothing. Felt like nothing compared to the greater whole. It was a sense of perspective and place and connection that I don't know that I felt before. And I just wept. Boy. I need to mull this over. I need time. But that was something else. I don't feel as though I need to see the Da Vinci thing. That to me now is just an ornament compared to what just happened. The reality of what I experienced just now. What had happened was that I had gone into the pain. And I had fully felt the pain. And then I asserted my core divinity as, if you want to put it this way, as a child of God, to my connection to the universality of all things, and focused it on my need, felt the pain, and it went away. And that same day in Milan, I walked for 10 hours, maybe, the rest of the day. Not a twinge, and there hasn't been a twinge since that day. I came away from that basilica feeling wholly empowered. The rest of my trip went absolutely fine. I came out of the church, walked around, and had no problem at all. So, very interesting. A very interesting experience. And our friend who's here with us proves the same thing. You might say, well, he's in denial of his state of being, but is he really? He's having treatment. He's not ignoring the doctors and what they say, but he simply took a different route of positivity and getting different doctors who encouraged him to do more and live more and gave him hope. That's the message that he brought with him to Napa, and which we're celebrating here. All right, I thought I would pass that on because I found it very, very interesting. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.